Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Southern Scrap Nation's podcast. Your host, as always, Daniel Jones. All right. So today we will be going over UFC 295, the results and everything from that. Definitely one of the best main cards this year, if not, in like the past couple years. We had all finishes in the main event or in the main card. So talk about MSG outperforming and also getting us a pretty, not early night, but definitely an earlier night than what could have happened. So as far as fight cards go, I did pretty good. If you parlayed any of my fights, all but the Mackenzie Dern one, I apologize for that one. I just, you show up like that against Angela Hill, and then I thought it was going to translate. But it didn't. Jessica Andrade showed why she's the scariest 115er of all time. And other than that, I couldn't have been more right. Right, Benoit Saint-Denis did such a great performance. He called out Justin Gaethje after. I thought that was a little early for that kind of call out. However, I thought the finish was enough against a Matt Frevola, a fast starter, a fast finisher. I thought that was a pretty good a comparison call out. Like, I'm very violent. Justin Gaethje is very violent. However, I think he's got a little bit of work to do before he gets to that position. But once again, hasn't lost since welterweight. Remember that, folks. He might be a little bit too big for this division. Not in a negative way. It seems like he can make weight. But as far as like a frame aspect goes, you can't make small mistakes by him. I think the best way you're going to beat him is you're going to have to be an Arman Tsarukyan, a Mateusz Gamrot, an Islam, someone who's going to incorporate grappling but has the strength to be able to incorporate that grappling. Then you had Diego Lopez making quick work of Pat Sabatini. He's got good hands. He's got great, and the fact that he's always, he's kind of an underdog typically, which is kind of crazy. He trains Alexa Grasso, and he works with her dad, so that's why his hands are so good, even though he's a quote unquote jiu-jitsu guy. But he's also 23-6. It's a lot of experience. It's a big featherweight too, huge featherweight. And then women's strawweight, Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern just couldn't find a rhythm. The shots by Jessica Andrade clearly affected her. I mean, they do. She's 115 pounds and hits hard enough to starch girls out completely. You just don't see that unless you are the Hammer, or Weili Zhang, and even Rose in the second fight. And Joanna fought Jessica Andrade twice at 115, and she moved. She touched, move. And it's like, that's what you have to do. And even in those situations, both those girls got hit and had hematomas. Like, this girl she just hits too hard at that weight class. And she's a problem. But I think Weili Zhang kind of exposed at strawweight. If you go forward and don't let her bully you, you can kind of get her out of there. All right, and then in the heavyweight division, you had Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich, ending in the first round, 1 minute 9 seconds. Too fast. It's kind of incredible that Tom said that he got off the couch for this fight and had a back injury, could barely train. But I think Tom's a very cerebral fighter, and it really showed in this fight. I mean, it showed in his Volkov fight more than anything. But like I said with the Andrei Arlovsky fight, he's kind of too fat, or with this fight specifically, I was referencing, he's too fast. Sergey's last opponents have been slow, older. in it for the money. You know, all these different aspects of like they're not Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is 6'5", proportional, moves fast. Michael Bisping compares him into like the heavyweight George St. Pierre. He'll incorporate takedowns. He's got black belt level jiu-jitsu. There's all these different threats that he has that most heavyweights don't have. And I think what got Sergey was the fact that he was fast too on top of that. And so getting from A to B with the hands, going back out, going, oh my God, I clipped him, and then jumping back in. I mean, it was very GSP-esque. But what Tom Aspinall said that I thought was very poignant, that I don't think a lot of people can think about, but him being in the position of the first UK heavyweight to ever be, I think what a lot of people don't see, and what he brought up, and he told Michael, he's like, there's something that I think I have that the average person doesn't, and that's split second decision making at such a high level. And I think that is kind of like, you are kind of gifted that by whoever you believe or whatever you believe in. And it's not inherently something you can just teach yourself. And I think certain people have that ability to, all the pressure's on them, Madison Square Garden, 2 weeks notice, first UK heavyweight, underdog, and to go out there and knock out the knockout artist in front of, you know, all these people, millions of people. When you've been saying, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then to get hit, take the shot, and then get yourself back into the fight, and then just have a immaculate performance after that's crazy. So I think he's right. I think there is something to that. He is a special breed of person, and his dad should sell his sperm. I mean, when he got the title and he's like, this is me dad, this is me paw, or whatever, and then it was just like some dude that's like my size or even like smaller than me, and then it's like Tom Aspinall. It's like, that's your dad? Like, at least Tyson Fury's dad kind of looks like Tyson Fury in 20 years. This guy is just like, this is my son. And it's like, what lab? But man, shout out to Tom Aspinall's dad for just whatever genetics he's carrying on. Or maybe his mom, who knows? But shout out to the Aspinalls, because it was good to see. It's cool to see. He gave up his IT job. He went in, he took full-time jiu-jitsu, and he decided, I'm going to just send it with teaching my son. And now your son's the heavyweight champion of the world. So it's like, yeah, that's right. Screw that IT job anyways. Who needs them? And then in the main event, Shama. I mean, I was nervous the whole time. I was like this the whole time. Please don't. But it was amazing. The way that Alex Bejeda, I mean, there's a little bit of Alex Bejeda's like technique in MMA that has something to be liked about. However, I mean, he struck him. However, he's 36, right? He doesn't have a lot of time to fight left as far as from his whole combat career. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. So weight cuts and all these things, they add up. But as far as getting Jiri Prochazka out of there, a guy who hasn't been knocked out, I don't think, ever. I don't think he's ever been knocked out. Could be wrong, but I don't think he's ever been knocked out. Actually, I'm gonna look at that right now. And it could be the activity. A lot of it could be the fact that Jiri was out, because Jiri was having success. Let's not get crazy. Jiri was having success. He's an MMA fighter. I wasn't worried because I didn't think Geary had the potential to just end the fight. He was landing some good shots, especially to that, like with that right hand. But it's the fundamental. Let's see. Oh wait, no, he's been knocked out before. Uh, King Mo knocked him out, and this dude no submission. So his losses have been by sword. He's never like lost because of a decision. So he's always like live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. Um, which it makes sense with his style. You know, his chin's up in the air, he rushes. Um, but has success, 29-4. It's not unsuccessful. It's just that some of those times with a more fundamental tight boxer, he's gonna get caught. Fundamental tight boxers don't let their hands travel away from their face like that for reasons like what happened. As soon as you're under fire, if a tight boxer's here, he threw the right hand, he shielded it, loading up his rear hand, firing the right hook to set Yuri's head to the other side, and then pulling back for the left hook. And that's the big thing about his left hook, is DC was saying it. Alex doesn't just throw his left hook and then eventually he hits a left hook. It's all set. It's by design. And when you close the distance, instead of trying to throw the left hook and close the distance where they could just pass it, go past my elbow, go past my hand, and beat me on the inside, I'm going to shield the incoming attack, stuff it, weather it, right? Then I'm going to touch, because they've closed distance. I don't need my jab. I found range. The range is they've made range for me. I hit them with my right hook, knowing that he doesn't want to be there for the right hook. As he pulls away, that's where that left hook is. So you are pulling yourself into the left hook. And Jiri's hands being constantly down, it shows that there's not a discipline of boxing. There's a discipline of MMA, but when you go into range, you can have your hands down if you're in kicking range or further. Absolutely, have your hands down. Why waste the energy? But when you start closing distance, you have to start carrying your hands closer and closer to your face, because of when you leave that space, weapons open up more. The closer you're in, the less weapons there are as far as full extension of power shots. But when I'm leaving space, that's when my defense has to be the most impeccable. It's when I'm leaving, I'm rolling my head, maybe slipping, parrying, like you're making sure that you can see everything. You don't want your hands covering your eyes. You don't want your hands down and your chin up. Like all these different things that in boxing you get drilled out of you. It shows that when you can lull somebody like Alex did, he pulled him into that. He kept backing up. And there's a little bit of Alex always worrying about the takedown. He got taken down in the first round. He got controlled. He's a striker. He's a sniper. So he kind of lets people take space to find that perfect shot. And as an MMA fighter, not the best strategy, but he's at least super high level striker that it's not like he's backing him up just for a left hand, just for a right hand. It's like there's a method to his madness. It's like you're backing him up. He loads for something, hits you with one thing, hits you with another thing, and then the left hook comes out of nowhere. All right, there's a method to the madness that allows him to maybe give up a little bit of space. But if you get a guy who just spams, like let's say there's a Merab Dvalishvili in the light heavyweight division, Alex is losing that fight. He gives too much. And then people get in on his legs, and he went for the guillotine. That's where, when someone goes for a guillotine, in my mind, I go, you have no takedown defense. Or like you gave up takedown defense. Like you'd rather just submission over position kind of situation, but you also just, you're going to give me your hips. I'm going to take you to side control. There's this 30 years now. This has been going on for 30 years. If you throw the guillotine on instead of defending the takedown, you're conceding the takedown. You got to get in the habit of like whizzering, creating frames. And then unless they are feeding you their head and looking down at your feet and just giving you their neck to get them out of there, there's no reason why people should be getting a guillotine, jumping guard. The only guillotines in my mind that work in MMA are the John Jones guillotines, where you put them against the cage, you high elbow, or you do the ninja choke, which really isn't a guillotine. You're not doing a front rear, or you're doing a front naked choke. But the only one that in my mind works is the John Jones, where you high elbow, you push that thing in there, and you just cut off the carotid arteries like he did to Gon and to Lyoto. But both those situations, he's hoisting them up on the cage, like he's hanging them on the cage with the guillotine, rather than like your back is against the cage and I'm trying to guillotine you. Did I think it was early stoppage? No, I didn't. I thought that was completely valid stoppage. He hit him with a left hook. Yuri shot him for a double. After he hit the ground, he shot him for a double. And then Alex hit him with like 30 unanswered elbows. And then Yuri fell back into guard, which I'm gonna pull up this thing. Hold on for everyone to see. He fell into full mount. Anyway, he took 30 unanswered elbows, fell back into full mount with Jiri, or with Alex on top of him. It's like Poetan in full mount, about to do. Hold on. I'm trying to find the. There's a view of Mark Goddard's. There's like a video of Mark Goddard's view of the knockout, and it's like, yeah, that's. Yeah, and I do. I wish I knew where that is. Hospital KO of Jerry. Why isn't this showing up? I saw this video the other day. Oh well, never mind. Sorry, I thought I was gonna find that, but I guess not. Anyway, that was a great card. But shout out to my picks, right? All right, let's get into it. Remember, everyone, like, subscribe, drop a like, subscribe to the podcast. Where are we at on time? Yep. Okay, perfect. Now let's get into some news / just break down this weekend's card. I know this weekend we got Brendan Allen taking on Paul Craig at middleweight. Big matchup. I think whoever wins this fight gets immediately a like top 5 contender. I'm talking we go Robert Whittaker, maybe. I think we maybe go Robert Whittaker with the winner of this. We either go Robert Whittaker with the winner of this, or we're going Jared Cannonier, or we're going somewhere where we're putting ourselves in line with Sean Strickland, Dricus Duplessis, like whoever's in that area. Because I know Izzy's on leave for a bit, so we have this weird Sean versus. Not that Sean's not. Not that we're like waiting for Israel Adesanya, but he is still considered like number 1 contender. And since he's on leave, he holds this 2-1 contender spot. He'll probably not go past 3. And so you have this it's kind of same thing with Rob too, right? Where Dricus is now entered in. It's now Sean Izzy, Drickus, Rob. And those can be all interchangeable at any day of the week. And then Izzy's not even there. So you have Drickus and Sean fighting. And then if Drickus wins, then you could put Drickus against Jared Cannonier. So, you know what I mean? Like, and then Paulo Costa's somewhere healing his elbow. I don't know. So the middleweight division is just all kinds of weird. But Brendan Allen and Paul Craig, this is their chance to get thrown into that chaos. Which, why not, you know? Okay, well, that's interesting. Myra Buena Silva has message for Juliana Pena. I will kill you. I will kill you. Because Juliana Pena said what? Because so Myra Buena Silva will be taking on Raquel Pennington in the co-main event of UFC 297 with the vacant bantamweight title. Reason being is Juliana Pena is injured. And Myra Buena Silva just fought Holly Holm, beat her, but then her fight was overturned because she popped for a positive banned substance. Pretty sure though it had to deal with ADD medication. However, you see, like in this article, look like she might miss out on the opportunity after recently testing positive for a banned substance. If I don't click on that, what do I think it is? Bad journalism. You're steroids. But watch, when I click on this, it's very sad for me. I stopped taking the medication the Monday of the fight week, prior to citing ADHD medication as the culprit. But no, this is how MMA media wants to do her. They want to be like, after recently testing positive for a banned substance. Now you make her look as though she's using steroids without giving the proper context. So now she looks even worse, saying, I'm going to kill you because she's a doped up, crazy person. Hey, MMA fighting, do better. See, look, Boyna maintains that she used ADHD medication for this, which is last. She pressed gratitude. Wow. Like, why this? When not, and then it's like, oh, to get them to read the rest of the article. Okay, I'd be more willing to read the rest of the article if you didn't do bullshit like this. It's annoying. It's like, I get it. You want people to click on your stuff. Well, then have better writing. Conor McGregor comments on UFC return date delay, unfinished Dustin Poirier feud. I'm not even going to get into that. Listen, Conor's going to be on UFC 300. There'd be no other reason why. They have nobody. They literally have nobody. In the comments, please, in the comments, put your put your main and co-main event for UFC 300. I'll read off the top ones. And let's say how many of them don't involve Conor McGregor and pass 1 million pay-per-view buys. Go in the comments. Let's see it. Co and main event. Neither one of them have Conor. Not an option. Take what you have with what you have now. And tell me if any of them sell over 1 million pay-per-view buys / make any lick of sense for UFC 300. They were talking about getting Ronda Rousey back. UFC 300 better be so tight. I better not be looking at UFC 200 and going, or 300 and going, and watching it especially and being like, man, that 295 was peak UFC this year, or that year, in the past 2 years. All right, morning report. Let's go. Sean Strickland says Dricus du Plessis will be a tougher fight than Khamzat Chimaev. I agree. And it's good to know that Sean Strickland and I would would vibe if we were talking about technique. I think Dricus is like so awkward, he's good. Validated by the champ. Let's go. Where it's like, I'm a million times better than him. I spar guys he's fought. I know who he is, but he's awkward. He's good. It's going to be a fucking war. He'll be a tougher fight than Chimaev. I agreed, man. Dricus isn't pretty when he fights, but man, he knows how to do MMA. Simple as that. It's like kind of like Jiri, but he's stronger in the grappling. And I don't know if it has stuff to do with like the middleweights and everything. But I think Sean Strickland actually has a pretty good recipe to beating Dricus just because he goes forward. He's not going to let Dricus do that bullshit where he like jumps in and out. It's going to be the power of the awkwardness. Because Dricus is a big guy. And he hits hard. I mean, you saw, but let's go America, Francis Ngannou ranked number 10 by WBC following split decision loss to Tyson Fury. Okay. UFC Shanghai card expected to shift to Las Vegas. Does Dana know something about Taiwan that we don't? Doesn't tell me why, though. Are we going to war with Taiwan in like December? Is that why? Patricky Pitbull, Usman Nurmagomedov. Yo, yeah, Usman Nurmagomedov. Not looking good. Damn, Eddie Alvarez is like an alarming amount of steroid accusations. So I added it to, yeah, I mean, well, he showed up with a white shirt with sweat stains going all the way down to the bottom of the shirt. Of course. Of course people are going to think. All right. Damn. Jasmine Jazz Duvizius is going to put the beating on Priscilla Cachoeira. Anything else before I get into breaking these fights down? This is ridiculous. Hey, Sean Strickland said the same thing. Jamal Hill promises standing knocking out of Alex Behead in an eventual title fight. Sean Strickland literally said the same thing. I'm going to go do the man dance. Bam, left hook, right hand. Left hook, right hand. MMA fighting, not, or MMA junkie, not MMA. Sunscrap Nation. Make sure to check out the website. Come check out the gym here in Charlotte. $150 a month. Use the gym. I got weights. I got pads. I got bags. I got the whole thing. I got sauna. All for $150 a month. No contracts. Let's see if bjpen.com's got anything. Sunscrapnation.com. Follow, like, subscribe to the podcast. All right, let's go ahead and get to the fights. This is a pretty, oof. It's a pretty tough card. 5 p.m. Eastern, nice. So kind of early night of fights. But let's go ahead and just do the main card. All right, we're starting with Johnny Parsons versus Urso Medic. Johnny Parsons last fight, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he beat Roberts. And he KO'd him. I was very surprised about that fight, to the point where this guy he's about to fight, I think he might beat this guy. He lost to Jalen Turner from a submission. And then, let's see something real quick. What? The reason why I'm looking is because if he lost to Jalen Turner because of a submission, but I don't think it's that he's got bad submissions. I think it's just that Jalen Turner might have hurt him, and then so this is Medic. I can see why he's the favorite. I don't want to play on because he's long. He strikes. He gets knockouts. Right hand. He's very like technical kickboxer. Left hand, right kick, southpaw. Oh, I don't know what this camera's doing though. What the heck? Right. He's got very competent striking. Yep. Left hand. That's all well and good. But watch this Johnny Parsons guy. He's going to put the pressure on. You know what? No, I'm going. This is a hard one. I might go. I don't like how Johnny keeps his head on the center line, right? It's one thing if you're pressuring, but you're like constantly head off the center line, moving that head. Like you're like always feinting, giving looks, right? But the way he's just standing straight, tall, and moving forward, I feel like Medic is gonna find that left hook left hand because he is pretty competent. But like Roberts is a southpaw, so he's already got a southpaw look. But it's the dog in part. You know what? I'm going Parsons because he's got that dog. Yeah, he's got that dog. He's got that dog. Yeah. I'm gonna go Parsons because I remember this fight. Yes, he starts like he gets hit, but he just doesn't stop. And sometimes that's what you need. You just need the pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. The stance switching. He stands his ground, which is good. He never gets discouraged. And he's got good he's got good defense in a way. Look at that. Just awkward. He gets on top. I could see Parsons submitting Medic. He fights well being a shorter guy. Oh, look at that head movement there. Yeah, dude. I think Johnny Parsons gets this done. Johnny Parsons. Underdog. Let's go. Amanda Ribas versus Luana Pinheiro. Her last fight, she beat Michelle Watterson. She got a split decision. But she's not lost. Oh, but she got DQ'd by the Rana Marcos. I don't like stuff like that. I'm gonna go Amanda Ribas. Yeah, that makes sense. Amanda Ribas, as far as like level of competition, I'm pretty sure her last fight was against Macy Barber, but I know she's coming off losses, like 2 losses. But these are like top level. Caitlin Chukagian. Wait. Oh, that's her. That's right. That's right. She changed her last name. Um, Caitlin Chukagian and Barber. And if you look at the people that she's lost to, I mean, they're very. I just don't think Luana is Macy Barber and obviously that was up a weight class too. I don't think Luana is Michelle Rodriguez level of striking or anything like that. I think Amanda Ribas is overall a better technical fighter than Luana, and I think she's gonna it'll help her get her. I think it's a good fight for her to get her groove back. And then you have Nick Aguirre versus Peyton Talbot. I don't really know anything about this dude. Oh, he fought on a Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, he was fun to watch. This guy was fun to watch. I remember this. I remember this dude. I don't know anything about Nick Aguirre, but the problem, I didn't think the other guy. I didn't think the other guy got I didn't think the other guy got the contract because he didn't finish the fight, and there were plenty of times for him to be able to do that. And so I thought Dana White didn't give him the contract, but it looks like he might have. And this guy looks like he might push the pace that the other guy doesn't. B2 series, okay. Damn. Okay. Nice. And then what is this? A Anthony Pettis fight championship. I don't like that. See, that was but see how it's like the front naked choke? Yeah. That's why he sold on it, because it's front naked. B2, I mean, he's got a lot of pro fights. Like different league pro fights. He seems kind of well-rounded. I'll bring up the other guy, but I really think that this Nick guy is going to win. Just based off of like how he pushes the pace. Whereas the guy that fought, like he looks very skilled, but if he's not the hammer, this guy's stuff's going to look a lot better. And he looks big. Like he looks big for 135. But it was in the Dana White Contender Series where I was starting to see stuff. They didn't even show it. But in his Dana White Contender Series, there was a lot of like he could have followed up, he could have pressed more, but he didn't. And this guy doesn't look like he's going to let you not do that. Then you have Jordan Levitt versus Chase Hooper. I think they're going based off of their last performances, and I think Chase Hooper's last performance was really good. Like he showed striking and everything against Fior. And he like beat him up. And Jordan, I don't know what's his last fight. Yeah, versus Martinez. This one's hard. A chase makes sense with the odds, but for the sake of man strength and kind of shutting down Chase's game, I'm gonna go Jordan. Because it's not like their games are similar, but as far as where Chase has confidence and where he's trying to push now and striking to get them to go to the ground and everything, I think Jordan's comfortable enough with being on top or even trying to commit to something on the ground that it's going to end up him submitting Chase or just riding out a decision, out scrambling Chase's ground attacks. And as far as standing goes, Jordan's wrestling might be stronger. So he might be able to stop any forward pressure. In the co-main event, you have Michael Morales versus Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews all day. Jake Matthews. The resurgence of Jake Matthews is crazy. In his last fight, not the Matthew Selmsberger, but the Fialho fight. The Fialho fight to the Flowers fight. Like, even the Selmsberger, he lost, but these two fights, he looked great. Like, and he's got a ton of experience. I mean, you go through the UFC games, and he's like in all of them. Let's go most recent one. Okay, what is this?
All right, guys.
I don't know what that was, but this is my point. Is like when he's sharp, look at how sharp he is. Boom. I'm just surprised I don't see any. Whatever. Point being is, I got Jake Matthews. He's just been on a roll. The Michael Morales guy, I think the experience is what's gonna give him problems. The experience of, oh my god, come on. The experience of Jake Matthews fighting in the UFC for so long is gonna. I mean, this guy, season 5 of Dana White's contender series. So I think just that on itself is gonna be what like he look at it, but all this pressure. Look at all the pressure on him. I think he's a really good wrestler. But I think when Jake Matthews pressures him and hits him with some experience, like with the veteran stuff, it's going to give him a problem. So definitely Jake Matthews. That guy's the favorite. Underdog all day. And then Paul Craig versus Brendan Allen. Oof. So I'm inclined to go Paul Craig for this. He's a light heavyweight dropping down to middleweight in a it almost gives me the Benoit Saint Denis vibe. Like it's not like he was getting out strength a little bit in light heavyweight. But look at the wins he has. Jamal Hill, Muhammad Ankalaev, like these guys are high level. He finds a way to submit them. And in middleweight, it's not like that's littered with extremely good grapplers. But now he's got the power, and he's been working at the guys with higher level in Scotland, and just like really getting his tie kicks and punches down, like the weight transfer down. And he looks fantastic. And at middleweight, he looks like he belongs there. Brendan Allen is kind of the same guy as far as like his style is essentially the same thing. But that's where I think you're getting the same style against the same style, just that you have one that was a light heavyweight. So Brendan Allen might be faster, but I don't think Paul Craig's giving up that much speed. The only thing that you would have to be concerned about is Paul Craig's, I think, age. He's 35, yeah. Be his age. Whereas Brendan Allen's kind of 27. Yeah, he's in it, right? and he's on a roll. He's like really moving up quickly the ladder to middleweight top 15, top 10. I'm pretty sure he's already top 10. Yeah, he's top 10. So moving forward from here, now you're trying to get to like what I was talking about before. You're trying to get thrown into those top 5 guys, right? You're trying to, this is what this is. This fight is to be thrown into that chaos that's in the top of middleweight. And both these guys stylistically match up very well in the top of the middleweight. It's just, can Brendan Allen handle the power of Paul Craig? And if that's the case, then I see bright future for him at the top of the middleweight division. On the other hand, if Paul Craig wins this fight, can he get to the top 5 and make it happen before he's 30, pushing on 40? You know, so those are the two dynamics going to this fight. I want to go Paul Craig because of just they're the same fighters essentially, but one's a little bit bigger. And usually it doesn't matter, but I think in this case, since they're kind of the same, it is going to matter. However, if I saw Brendan Allen beat Paul Craig, it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like that would be his moment. We need top 5 guys now. So those are my picks. I got Johnny Parsons, Amanda Hebus, Nick Aguirre, Jordan Levitt, Jake Matthews, and Paul Craig. I hope you guys today enjoyed today's episode. Once again, follow the podcast, drop a subscription or drop a subscribe, like the video, follow Southern Scrap Nation. $150 a month. Get your gym memberships now. Go to our website. You can contact me. You can sign up for training there. Actually, you can't sign up for that. Contact me. And yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fights. I've been your host as always, Daniel Jonas. This has been Southern Scrap Nation. Until next time, stay safe.